Here we go. All right. Hello, everyone. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're joining us from. Whew, we've been looking forward to tonight in a very long time. Like, if you joined our onboarding session, which was last week, Saturday, then you already know that this is a session that we've been looking forward to. We have a platform called Study Group. All right. How many of us have heard of the study group? If you've heard about the study group, you could use the reaction. So we have a platform called the Study Group, and this is where we take time to learn and build our skills as data analysts, learning together, where we get to push ourselves, we get to study, do projects, and do a lot of amazing things. But we decided to bring what we have in the study group to the community so that we can share with the community what we do in the study group, you know, bring some of the things that we've learned, the kind of culture that we have in the study group, which is focused on building and practicing and projects based approach. We're looking towards how that kind of culture can be shared with the community. And that's what we want to do with the SQL project series. All right. My name is Coach Timothy, and I am the lead behind the study group, right? I'm the thoughts behind the study group. But tonight is not about the coach, neither the platform. Tonight is about you that have joined this session to explore and practice with us, because this is going to be a practical session. And I like to welcome everyone to this call. This call is going to be recorded. I want you to look forward to it. I want you to look forward to the lectures that would be handled by Isaac. I also want you to look forward to the quizzes. I want you to look forward to the assignments. As a community, what we want to do with this study group is to practice and teach some of the basic things in SQL that is important to know. That's one. Then two, we want to assess ourselves on the understanding of these things using quizzes. The quizzes are going to be on the call, so don't leave the call until the program is over. This is a workshop, so you don't want to miss it for any reason. You want to be available to the end, because at the end of the workshop, we are going to give assignments. The assignment is to help you practice on your own and submit back, so that we can look at the solution and correct you any area that your SQL skills is not so good. We can give you that correction and say, oh no, try to improve this, try to improve that, try to do this, try to do that. Being able to get that correction from the community's admin. All right. And then thirdly, we want to use this platform to keep us consistent in our learning. We know learning can be hard to be consistent in something, especially when you're not earning in it. You don't have something that naturally motivates you. So you have to internally motivate yourself, or externally look at people that are doing it, and you're saying, oh, someday I want to be like this person, someday I'm going to start earning with my data skills. We know that learning on your own can be a lot difficult. I mean, you already have the experience where you started learning, or you started a course but you did not see the course to the end, or you already have a course that is free but you're not seeing the course to the end. All right, these are the things we're trying to do with this SQL study group. All right, where people from the community that are interested in SQL can join and practice and have assignments after the workshop, and have live quiz on the workshop, and we'll see our score on the quiz on the workshop, right? You get to see our score. And each person that takes the quiz, please try to share the screenshot of the quiz on the WhatsApp group. So that's what we're going to do tonight. It's going to be interesting. I've been looking forward to these sessions. Isaac is looking forward to the session. And it's also a pleasure to have some of our SQL students joining too. Of course, it's so nice to see Kola on the call. It's so nice to see Emmanuel on the call. It's so nice to see Focus on the call. It's so nice to see everyone on the call, right? So let's get into it, right? Tonight we're going to talk about database and tables. We're not just going to talk about it, we're going to practice it. We're going to be using Microsoft Server as a case study. I am just here to introduce the platform and introduce Isaac. So Isaac is a student of the SQL study group, but right now Isaac is not a student because he's graduated from the SQL study group, and he's an alumni. An alumni is a person that graduated from the study group, and have gained tons of experience in SQL, both from projects and from days of learning and studying. And as well, he has a curiosity for growth, right? And that's why we're starting with Isaac. You're going to be seeing other students from the SQL study group come on this platform to share what they've learned, to share what they know. So I'll advise you, don't just join in today, join in other sessions, because we're going to be touching different aspects of SQL, from database to tables to fundamental things that you did not even know. And then there's something about SQL which is practice, right? These sessions are going to be practice based. Okay, with no further ado, allow me to welcome Isaac. Hi, Isaac. I hope you're good. This session is yours. So just take control. All right. Feel free to ask us to raise our hand and close our eyes. Feel free to ask us to give offering. All right. You're free to ask us to do anything. All right. Yeah, Isaac. Hope you're good. How you doing?
Um, Good evening, everyone.
I
My name is Isaac. I'm very good, coach. I'm very good.
great.
Well,
Guys,
I'm not really good. I'm not really good right now, but I'm going to see how it's going to be, right? So I am very happy. I'm very happy to be introducing this course in this episode. So I'm looking forward to learning with everyone here because I am I'm still a student. Like coach said, I'm not a student anymore. I'm still a student on this. So let's see what we are going to do, right? So today we are going to be looking
all
at
right. Isaac, do you
the
want to share a screen? Because I'm
the
going to stop sharing my
introduction
screen right now. Isaac, I'm going to stop
part
sharing my
of the what the project series is all about.
screen. Isaac,
Yeah, yeah.
all right. I've stopped sharing my screen, so you could share your screen and take over.
Okay, no problem.
All right.
Mm,
Okay, so while Isaac is about sharing his screen, can one person just tell us what you're looking forward to? Just tell us about yourself and your experience in SQL. Tell us something. If you're new to SQL, you can just tell us if you're new to SQL. And if you're not new, you could also say it as well. So does anybody want to go while we're waiting for, we're looking forward to Isaac? Oh, Isaac is already presented. All right, anybody want to speak before Isaac take over? Just tell us your name, where you're joining from, and your experience with SQL. Anyone? Anyone? No? Vera, I'll call names. Vera, you were here so early. I appreciate that. Do you want to speak? Vera. All right, Vera is quiet. I don't know. I'll come back to Vera by the end of this session. All right, Isaac, the floor is yours.
okay. Once again, good evening, everyone. So we are going to be looking at the introduction part of this course, and as we all know, we have different code editor for SQL. For querying data with SQL, we have different code editor. So today we are going to be using SSMS, which is the SQL Server Management Studio, which is of course, one of the code editors that we have. So before we start, I really want to let us understand some things. For some of us that are just joining, I know most of us here has already gone very far, so I'm privileged to be presenting right now. Okay, first of all, please, I just want to know if you are hearing me because most of the time I usually have audio issue. Please, can you
Yes,
still hear
Isaac.
me?
We can hear you. Yeah, we can hear
All
you.
right. Okay, nice. So basically, this is going to be very quick. You're not going to waste time because this is just the introduction. So I want us to remember that in as data guys, we basically work with databases, and databases are of course stored in servers. And since we are dealing with relational database. The kind of query we write depends on what we want to do. So it can be a data definition kind of problem we are trying to solve, or maybe want to manipulate data, or we want to query it as per se. So I am not going to be looking at querying today. We are going to be defining tables, and we are going to be manipulating the tables a little bit using SQL clauses as insert, update, delete, create, alter, drop, and so on and so forth. So another thing I have to say is that the type of SQL languages that we have are not limited to these three. We have many other types of SQL languages that we have to, All right, so that being said, as I said before, we have different editors for writing code on with SQL. So we are using SSMS. SSMS is from Microsoft. We also have MySQL. Some of us are familiar with MySQL, and I'm very sure that most of us are here are basically using MySQL. Probably the only one that is not using it. So we also have VS Code for those of us here that are developers. You would likely be using VS Code, and so on and so forth. So well, what we are going to do is we are going to be, getting data, that's like uploading data to our code editor and see what we can do with it. So if I move on, I just want to know, please, you can unmute your mic and speak. I want to know how many of us have this code editor already. If you have SSMS on your PC, please, you can unmute your mic and speak. I want to know how many of us have it.
Hi, Isaac. Good evening. I actually have it installed on my laptop. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, so I was expecting a lot of voices, but I don't think I'm going to give you that much time to talk. So I am going to go back to my. So if you want to work with this, the first thing you need to install is Express, Microsoft Express. So you have to install it. Microsoft server, I guess. You have to install it on your PC. That's the first thing you're going to see here. So we need server to be able to start. So you install this server to your PC, and then you also install this studio. You also install it from the same site, right? So go ahead and install that. And once you have done that, we are ready to move, because I have my code editor pre-installed. So I am very sorry, I have to apologize. I won't be showing you through the installation process because I have limited time. So I'll just launch my code editor right now. So my code editor, let me launch it. Excuse
So
me.
it's a bit
Okay.
fast.
I'm a bit fast. Am I fast?
No, you're not. You're
Yes.
not. You can watch
Wow.
the recording. You can watch the recording. You can actually go back to watch the recording. Isaac, just go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, just go ahead. But remember that you're not sharing your entire screen. You're sharing the
I'm not.
presentation slide. No,
It's only the
you're sharing
presentation
presentation slide.
slider.
Yeah, it's only
I
the slide you are
used.
seeing.
Wow. That's
So
weird.
you want to
Hold
share
on,
your
I'm
entire
coming.
screen? Do you want to share your entire screen so that we can?
Okay. I'll do that.
Okay.
Oh,
So
Man.
first of all, you could press escape on your system. It will remove the slide from presentation mode.
Okay. Or maybe I should just stop presenting and
All right, okay, that's what that was.
okay. Okay, I was supposed to present the entire screen, right? Right?
Yeah. So we can see all the screens that you switch in between.
Okay.
All right. So generally, Isaac is not fast. Actually, he's there's a recording you can always go back to. All right, so that we can maximize the time that we have. So apologies, guys. He's not actually fast. So just if you don't get all the information, you can always go back to the recording. It will be available on the community's YouTube page. So you have all the time to rewatch as much as. So Isaac, just go
Please,
with your flow.
please,
Yeah, we can see
I
my
hope
entire
I'm not
screen.
you can see my editor, right?
Yeah.
Okay. It's not the same thing I did. I don't know why. Okay, once you launch the editor, once you launch it, the first thing it's going to ask you to do is to connect to a server. So you can just type in your server name here. Can type in your server name here. This is the name of the server. Basically, when you install SQL Express, you are just going to type your desktop name and then SQL Express as the full server directory and connect. Right. So you may want to connect to different server. So as I said before, you just need to type the name of that server here. For example, if I want to connect to the local host, now I'll just type dot and click on. So you can see now, please, I just want to know if you are seeing my screen, please. Are you seeing my screen?
Yeah, we can, but I'm not sure if your screen is frozen. Is anybody seeing a frozen screen? Or it's good. Isaac, try to move your mouse around.
Yeah, I'm moving my mouse.
Okay. All
Things are
right.
changing, right?
Okay. All right. Okay. It's good.
All
All
right.
right.
So as I was saying, you can connect to different server here, to different services. So this is my first server. This is the Express. This one is the local host that I just connected. I said if you want to connect to your local host, you just need to type in this database engine, you just need to type dots here to connect to local hosts. So that's basically how you connect to. Let me increase the I don't really want to expand this screen too much. All right, so you have access to your database under this database section. The first thing you're going to see is system databases, and there are 4 of them. The master, if you're preparing for an interview, you basically need to know what all these system databases are and what they do. And then this is the database I have, my own database. This is one of them. And this is the second one. You can see this adventure works. I'm going to give you a link to download this. And this is a logistic database and so on and so forth. So if you notice when I was connecting to my database, I did that without any stressful authentication process. So I just use this window authentication. So authentication is basically like verifying your identity. It's different from authorization. So if you choose SQL Server authentication, it's going to ask you for username and password. So you are going to enter your username and password. But basically, I just wanted to use my window credential. So that's why I'm able to connect without any password. Another thing I would like you to look at under this Objects Explorer is the security section. Under the security section here, you have login, server rules, credential, and so on. So let's assume you are working in a professional environment. You probably will not have access to everything. So as a user operating, working in this database, you'll be having some restrictions. So those restrictions are right here under the security section. So I have two users here. Rather, I have two logins here. My first login is in this user that I am. I hope you can see this is UJ. This is I have like three users here. Really? Four. UJ, Nimortin, and Isaac. So the first login is to UJ, right? That's my first login. So you can change your login credential. I don't know if I have time to do that. I will probably come back and address that. So let's go back to our slide. Let's go back to our presentation. Right. So I assume that you would install this later. And then I've talked about connecting to servers and connecting to multiple servers. You can connect to multiple servers. I did connected to two servers. One is localhost and the other one. And then another thing is there are different types of services that we have here. There are different types of services that we have here. You see, if you notice when I connected to my server, I clicked on the database engine. This is basically where you are going to be doing all the simple stuffs. So this is basically the where you are going to be using for now. So this analytics tab is more of for analysis guys, maybe big data analysis, and the integration part where you have to connect to. So I'm not going to explain any of these services. So let's assume you just downloaded your what's it called, your server and this SSMS. First thing after connecting, if you want to connect to another server, please ensure to click on the database engine, right? Sure to click on the database engine. All right, so that being said, let me look at that slide again. Okay, nice. So, okay, I want us to look at something here. So I said something about the database explorer. So we are going to look at these databases that we have here, right? So this is basically it. Inside this database, let me click on this one for instance. Well, what I wanted to say is that, well, you have different kind of objects, like different kind of objects that I see here. I'm going to look for where they are. So you have different kind of objects in your database. So what we are really going to concentrate on are schemas. So we can create schema, right? We can create schema, but in your database, there are default schemas that are there already. So we have the DBO. This is like the default schema. I'm sorry, I don't know the full meaning of this DBO. And then these are like all the most basic default schemas that are going to have. Some of these things, you are going to use them to see some of the metadata that you have in your, in your in your database and in the server as a whole. So without wasting much time, I want to quickly, probably I'll come back to that slide because I think I'll be jumping if I go there. I want to quickly um, introduce us to database, importing database. So to be able to import a database, the first thing is, please let's look at this slide, right? You can import files, database. This file can be just text files of different types, or SQL files, or database files, and so on and so forth. So we are going to manually write code to import these things, or just click in and drop in and stuff like that. So let's move on, right? Okay. So to be able to add a database to your engine, should I call it engine, to your server, you just need to click on this database here, right click on it. When you right click on it, you see different options here. You see one that says restore database, right? So on this restore database, you're going to click on it. You are going to see this prompt. So this database, where are you going to get it from? It asks for source. You are going to click on device, and then you are going to browse. If you have to expand this. So you are going to browse it. There's one small space there with 3 dots. Click on that, and then you are going to see this pop up on your screen. My mouse is beginning to misbehave. I'm going to see this pop up on your screen. Then click on add, right? It's going to take you here, where you see, what you see here is the disk part of your system. So you cannot see any other part of the system, right? So that means that your database must be, or the file that you want to, the database file that you want to restore must be stored in your disks before you can, right? So I don't think I have any database here. I have one, I think I have only one, and this one is already there. So what I want to do is I'm going to open my Explorer, and then I'm going to look for my database. Sorry, my mouse is misbehaving. I'm going to look for my database, the one I just downloaded. I will just copy that, and then I will go to the disk, right? And then where I'm going to store it, let's say here right now. And then I'll just store it there. So I'll come back here, right? Maybe I should just refresh this. So you see the database here, right? So you click on it and click on OK. You're going to see the database showing up like this, and you click on OK again, right? So you have your database right here. And then if you click on OK once more, what's happening? Sorry, it's taking time. So the database has been restored successfully. Just clear that prompt, and let's go back to our editor. So back to this editor. I'm sorry about this. My system is lagging. So back to the editor, you can see that the database has been added successfully. Before, we had only these 3 databases. Let me remove this. We have only these 3 databases, so we have a new database right here. So I want us to write some query, and I don't want us to just bump into writing queries like that. So I set some questions that we are going to follow. We are going to follow these questions. So that means that anything I don't finish in this course, you are going to write it yourself. Yes, I said that's right. Let me look for it. So I should have it. I should have it somewhere. Coming. Excuse me. Okay. All right. All right. So it seems like a lot of questions, right? So I'm going to clear this. I'm going to clear this. So this is basically some question we are going to, right? We are going to answer. The first thing we are going to do is we are going to look at the schema. Um, I mean the server, and see what is inside the server, right? So to be able to do that, there is this I don't know what to call it, this metadata schema. It's called information schema, that I can easily get some of the things I need from it before I start coding, because I am very sure that Object Explorer is going to look messy if I just keep clicking on it anyhow. So let's use a select statement and select everything from information schema. So it's going to pop up. You can just click on enter. So what am I looking for? Maybe I should just look for tables. Um, tables, and then I'll run that. Sorry, I'm going to run that. So it's showing error. Okay, coming. Please hold on. I'm trying to solve something. Okay, so where's the error from? Let's just run this like that. So you see all the tables that's this is not what I want. You know what I want. I want to see everything. Let's see if I can see databases. No. All right, so let's just look for columns. That way we'll be able to get more information. So selecting that again and executing it. Whoa, so this is what we have. So in this you'll be able to see all the databases that you have in this um system. Well, I should have more than this. Should probably have more than this. But I think the reason why I'm having this issue is because we are only selecting masters here. But I have another problem. I'm only seeing master in this database. I'm only seeing master in this database. It probably means that we are connecting to the wrong thing. So I think we need to change our connection. Uh, sorry. We need to change our connection. Yeah, the connection is fine. And but I'm not getting everything I want. Well, let's let's try to let's try to work with a particular database. Let's use this database for instance, and then run that. So running this, we can check this again. Hold on, please. Can check this again. It's a 5. See showing me error. Maybe I should just run only that. Okay,
Okay.
it's taking
So
its
the thing
time.
is, information schema, is there a database already? Is that a table or a database?
You mean this schema?
No, that
Well,
information schema, is it a database or a table?
is more like a table that keeps all the metadata, every data about our databases that we want. So it's kind of give a summary of the data you cannot see. For example, now,
Oh,
um,
okay,
this-
okay, okay, I get
yes,
you.
yes, yeah. So, well, so I've been able to see how this table looks like, right? Um, if I want to, if I want to see, if I want to see a particular column, I'll probably just copy this, come to this. Let's expand this. Okay, okay. Okay, didn't copy. Okay, let's type it again, right? So select, I can see, we can see a lot of things here, right? So I just wanted us to see how it looks like. So you can select table underscore schema, right? Let's just select that from this information schema, but I don't want to include, sorry, I don't want to include all these things that we have here. So I just want the columns, right? I'll, why is this saying auto completing for me? In case you're wondering why it is auto completing for me, it's because I enabled copilots. Yes, I have copilots here. It's always doing work where I don't want to do it most of the time. So look at this. These are all the databases that we have here, right? These are the databases that we have. I've tried opening the Object Explorer. It doesn't want to open. Okay, it's open now. So these are all the databases that I mean, all the schemas that we have in this database. So if you count the number of schemas, let's just count it. Um, excuse me. It is not always running. Okay, you count the number of schemas. It's showing how many? 740. No, 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 that's not what I want. Let me count these things. I don't know if that will work. Yeah, let's run this again. So we have only 6 schemas. So this is it. A schema is more like a semi database. So schema is inside the database. We have different schemas, and inside different schemas we have tables, right? So I have a lot of things that I want to do here. So I'm going to give you so much tasks to do. So your job here is to come to, I'm going to give you this file. You're going to come to this file and you're going to manipulate it anyhow you want. And so far, I've provided you with some of the things you can do. Well, I'm not going to be able to do everything, right? So we are just going to work with what we have, our time. So, well, so now I have already shown you how to see a particular database. Before I wrote this code, I first used this database because it's only this database that I want to see all these informations from. So I used the database before I checked all those informations. So if you want to check some more information about about your your database, maybe it's just tables that you want to check, you just need to change your query, right? There's nothing much there. So, oh God, as I'm looking at the time, my heart is skipping. Oh my God.
Just pick two or one and just explain it and share it. Don't worry about all the questions. You can still come back for another session. Don't worry. We'll bring you back in another session.
All right, so let's look at this logistic. Inside the logistic database, you will have all the tables. I think I did not explain that. You will have all the tables. It is loading. I think it's too much things there. All the tables will be stored there. You can easily preview the table. That's what I wanted to show you, but it is still loading. Let me check this one. This one too is expanding. This is going to be a lot of work. Okay, this one open before time. Should I do this one first? Okay, let's look at this. Inside this, you look at, if you look at this thing looks very scary, but there's nothing there. So the first set of database that we have is DBO. That's like default database. You just need to ignore that. I mean, schemas are the default schemas. So here we have human resources, persons, so on and so forth. So I just want to right click on one of these and I want to check this table. So I selected the top 200 rows. Should automatically open. Yeah, so this is how the table looks like, right? Although not everything is showing. You can expand it to see it properly. So this is how the table looks like. So before you start querying, you can use select statement, or you can just right click on this to view your tables, right? You can do a lot of things. That's the only thing I want to show you for now. So let's go back to this. So the first thing I want to do is to create a new database. So just in case you were wondering, like, how can you just create this database on your own? So you can just use a create statement to create database. So to create a database, just needs to type create and then database, and then you type the database name that you want to create. Let's just say database. What should I name this? Isaac. So I'll end this here and just run it. So if you run this and refresh this panel, let me close all these things that I have here. They are looking very messy. If you run and refresh this panel, you're supposed to see the database, but nothing is showing, right? Nothing is showing. So why is that? Why is nothing showing? I'm thinking it's because there's nothing inside the database. So that will lead us to like forcing ourselves to create a table inside that database. So first of all, I want us to know that we can create a schema and then create a table inside schema, and we can also create a table and let it just be there in the database. So to create table, you just type create table, right? Thanks to this guy. Thanks to him. Right. To create table, after creating table, you have the table name, right? The table name. And then you will specify, I'm using this to explain, just in case we are not going to write this code. You specify the columns. This sales region ID is a column that you can specify in the table. Let's say this table is sales. Let's say sales, sales table. You just open these brackets like this, and then you specify all the columns that you want to store in the table. Every column will have its